Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back. We've brought another product range out for you today. We did the Powerlight cases yesterday. It was really well received. So we've gone for another range of products today. So we're going to look at the Vector Optics range of dot sights, magnifiers, short dots, magnified optics and all that stuff. The price of these are all on the website. There's a big, massive range, anything from really, really cheap up to a few £100 that I've not quite got here, but I've got some of the more expensive short dots. If you've got any questions about Vector Optics or optics in general, please drop them in the chat to your right. We can answer via the chat or live. If you've got a question on a product as I'm going through, by all means drop a question. We're more than happy to answer your question there and then to make sure you're getting all the information at the right time. So Vector Optics as a range have been really well received by the community, and we've sold plenty of these, and we very, very rarely get any back, but they do have quite a really good warranty as well. So price is good, the glass is really nice in them. I've run a few on some of my EEGs as well, but we'll go at sort of a base level of features throughout them, and if you've got any questions, just drop them down below. So first thing I've got on my right hand side are the two flip to size magnifiers. They come in 3 and 5 times, so you're not stuck with choice. So the 3 times, they are both relatively the same. There is a minor size difference and probably a slight weight difference, but they do operate the same way. There's a push button on the front, and when you push it, you can roll it to the side and it gets out of the way of your dot sight or whatever you're using. Again, you can press it, roll it back in, and you've got that magnification. These are really, really good in CQB if there's sort of urban environments where you're going to get quite close, cutting through doors and everything like that, but yet there might be an outside area that's a bit longer range and you just want to scan windows or further out. Really good for static positions as well, because they're really easy to swap back and forth. We have questions. So Finster's saying that the flip to sides are really, really nice. I do quite prefer the non-spring loaded flip to sides because it just gives you a bit more control and there's no rattle. So once it is in place, it sits solid and there's no rattle for them to bounce around or accidentally operate and flip. These are both $59.99 for the 3 times and the 5 times, and they do come with the Allen key to attach them to the mount. So the actual optic itself comes separately. You attach it to the mount, attach that to your 20mm rail, and you're good to go. They do have adjustment as well. So what you need to be aware of is once you have zeroed your dot sight or whatever this is going through, you do then have to zero the magnifier as well, because when you look down this, you might see that your dot is off to the side or high. You can then adjust this and get it dead center, and it's really, really good. You can also adjust the focus on the back. Moving on to one of the more cheaper dot sights, but still really, really good, is the 1x35 RD. So this is red and green, and it's a 5 MOA dot. So what we mean by MOA is the minutes of angle. So the minutes of angle on a dot sight or anything like that is how big the actual dot is from what you can see downrange. So the bigger number is obviously the bigger the dot, but what it means is at 100 yards, 1 MOA is 1 inch. So a 5 MOA dot, if you're looking at a target that is 100 yards away, it's going to cover the equivalent of 5 inches of it. The bigger the dot, it makes it easier to find the dot when you're coming up on target. It finds it really, really easy to find the dot and get on target. But a smaller dot is much, much better for precision because it's going to cover less of the target and you're going to get an easier sight picture and get on there. This one runs on CR2032, so watch battery is really, really good, and it has a green and red dot for whatever you want to do, and it has the elevation and windage adjustment. The next thing I've got here is the cantilever. So these things are 20 quid. Amazing for your short dots that I'll come on to later, but this thing's super light. It's aluminium made, really, really light, not going to add too much to a platform's weight, and the price is it's really, really good. So I've just brought it out to show. One of the big sellers and one of the best sellers of the Vector Optics range is the Maverick. This is the Maverick Gen 2. 1x22. When I'm going through this and saying 1x22 or 1 to 5x24, what I'm meaning by that is the magnification and the objective lens. So it's not necessarily the size of the optic or anything like that, it's the actual size of the glass that is pointing downrange. So this is a 1 times magnification, so it's how you can see, and the glass at the end is 22mm. The optic itself is a lot bigger than that. But the Maverick has a really cool feature that it is QD, so you can pull this and roll it out. and then attach it to your riff. So a few questions dropping in. How much magnification do they have? So that's Matty asking about magnification. So going back to the flip to sides, if that's what you're meaning, they come in two different variants. So one is a 3 times and one is a 5 times. Apart from that, they're identical. And then Mackenzie is, what's the difference between having a green dot and having a red dot? Absolutely nothing. It's purely the user's preference. Some people just find it easier to catch a red dot when they're bringing the platform up. A green dot, some people think is better when it starts getting dark. But the idea is a red actually travels further and uses less power, so your eyes actually pick that up better. But I think mainly the green dots came in when it was claiming to be night vision or anything like that, but it's just a completely user's choice. So nothing apart from the green probably being brighter. Yeah, Matt is pretty much right there. Green is a bit of a brighter colour in wavelength and red travels further. But inherently red is easier for your eye to pick up when you're coming up. So the Maverick Gen 2, it does come with a couple of parts as well. So it comes with the covers that I've just taken off there that keeps it safe when it's packaged away or anything, keep your glass protected. It then comes with the little tool for your windage and everything like that, and it also comes with a low mount. So if you don't want this mid to high mount on there, and you wanted to mount this on something else that's a little bit low profile, or say you've got a UMG or something that's got a lower stock, you can put the low mount on it, and you'd lose an inch of height. Again, you've got elevation, windage, and brightness settings, and again, this is a 2032 battery. These things are really, really good, super robust, super cheap. So the Mavericks, off the top of my head, I think these are coming in at $44.99, so really, really cheap and a really, really well-built optic for the stuff that you're getting with it. You're getting all the tools, all the mounts and everything. So a couple of little sort of combo sights. These work really good on your pistols or even as side mounted on ARs. So the first one that I've got coming up here is called the Frenzy. It's really neat, it's really cool. I really like this one. This can go on anyone that's got an AAP, or if you want to put this on a 45 and you've got yourself a scope and you just want to quickly acquire a target, this is really, really good. It's Torx mount and spring loaded, so when you attach it onto a rail, just tighten it up and you're good to go. So again, as I was saying about the MOAs earlier, this is a 6 MOA dot, so the idea of this is it's meant to be really, really fast acquisition. It's not meant to be precise or really long range, obviously because of the size of it, but the idea is this is at a 45 and you're looking down a scope, you can quickly turn your weapon to this, hit that dot and catch it in your eye really, really quickly, but at range it is going to cover quite a lot of the target. So Matty again asking, could you mod them to fit a high capper? There are lots of high cappers that have red dot plates on them already, and this mount at the bottom, the 20mm mount on this, is actually removable. So there are 2 screws at the bottom. I checked the measurements and stuff. I believe they are on the website, but you could probably take this off and fit it to the plates that do come with a lot of high cappers. So if you have a sight plate on the back of your high capper, this could very well possibly fit. If not, the sight plates, you could get a 20mm adapter, add this to it, and it'd be really, really good. Again, with it being a 6 MOA, these things are absolutely brilliant in CQB because normally what you're trying to do is get your dot up fast and acquire the target downrange. Usually you've got the target and you just want to get the dot on it. These are really, really good for that. Again, in the box, you do get some tools with this. So it's a flathead, the little silver dot that you can see at the back there, that is your elevation and windage is on the side, and you do get a specific tool to adjust that to make sure that your round is landing exactly where that dot is. So the next one is very, very similar, but a little bit more down. So the Frenzy is $74.99, so it's a lot of money, but it is made absolutely amazing. It's really, really good bit of kit. The Sphinx is a sort of a slightly cheaper option, comes with the plastic cap at the front, and this one's $49.99, sorry. And rather than it being a Torx screw or anything like that, it is just a hand-tight screw that goes on the side. Again, screws on the top, so the 20mm rail at the bottom can easily come off, and if the screws do match up, these can go on pistol sight mounts and everything like that. A few more questions up there. So Pete, is the mount height adjustable? On which one? I presume you mean the Maverick. So on the Maverick, the mount that's here, so this is the high mount that comes with it in the box. It does also come with the low mount here. The Allen keys to adjust this, so there's 4 Allen key screws in the bottom. take them out, swap it over to this, and you've got 2 different height mounts. A lot of the other stuff that I've covered already, these aren't really height adjustable. There is some slight adjustment on height with these, the magnifiers, but the RD and the other stuff is fixed. So Matt is saying he'd love to mount it to an ACOG. So the tops of the ACOGs, there are 2 screws. You'd have to measure them and check the sizings of the screws on these. But if they do match, these will fit and fit straight onto the top of an ACOG for a sort of rapid acquisition dot sight. So Pete's asking about the magnifiers. So yes, so the screws on the top here are purely for mounting. And then when you press the button and roll it, that's your adjustment. What you do then have is 2 screws here. These 2 screws here, if you loosen this, it changes where it locks in place. So you do have a very, very fine adjustment if you're going anywhere from sort of an RD sight to a T1 style sight, and just the actual mounts on these are slightly different. You do have a couple of mil of just slight changes just by adjusting that. You then tighten them down, and that changes where the actual stops are of the magnifier. So Matt is asking, is the Maverick suggested for people with dye masks? Absolutely, the Maverick. So this, because it's got the high mount, if you're running a dye mask or anything like that and you are finding it quite difficult to get down, get a proper cheek weld on the stock, or depending what you're using, these will help because it does have the high mount. If you're running something that has a drop stock or a fold-away stock and you want the dot a bit lower on the platform, you can run the low mount on it and it will drop the dot sight down to pretty much on your rail pretty much. But yeah, the Mavericks are perfectly fine for dye masks and everything like that. Very little, if any, reflection on the back glass, so they're really, really good. So moving on to my sort of personal choice of optics when it comes to rifles, not necessarily long range or anything like that, just the options that these give you is the short dot style optic that Vector have. So I've got 2 Foresters and an Arbiter with me. So the first one I've got is the Forester 1x5x24 IR. So what that means is it has anywhere from 1 to 5. So it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's anywhere in between. So as you roll this knurled part at the back, there are numbers in that little window. You see them on the camera. They are just rolling round, and that is your magnification. With this down at 1, you also have a focus ring at the back. So as I'm adjusting this, this gives you very, very slight focus changes depending on your eye relief or anything like that. But the Forester, so it has a 30mm tube. So what I meant earlier by 1x5x24, it does have a 30mm tube. So the cantilever mount will fit straight on this. But as with all the Vector Optics range of short dots, they do come with scope rings already. These can fit straight onto anything. But if you wanted something a little bit Guccier or just to move in a different direction, this is available and fit straight on. So it has 1 to 5 times magnification, and then the 24 is the objective lens. So if you wanted to get a kill flash or anything like that to screw into the end here, it needs to be 24mm, and that'll go in there and stop any reflections, any sniper glint or anything like that that you're playing around with. Again, windage on these, so you've got to take the turrets off on this one, and it is a little flat head that turns that. You have half MOA adjustment on this, which is absolutely incredible. So at 100 yards, every time you click this once, it is going to move your dot half an inch, if that makes sense. Once you get into optics and stuff like that, it is half an inch MOA is a really, really good and very, very fine style of adjustment. Gives you absolute precision, and you can make that dot and BB land exactly where you want it. So you've got elevation and windage, and then the caps go back on, and then you've got your brightness on the left-hand side. I think this one goes up to 11, because 11 is obviously better than 10. All these are made out of aircraft grade aluminium, and they're all nitrogen purged, so they're absolutely incredible about staying fog free. And another thing about these is their field of view. So when you're on 1 times magnification at 100 yards, you're getting just over 73 foot of view. So 100 yards down range, you will be able to see 73 feet at an angle. When you're at 5 times magnification, you will still be able to see 19 feet at 100 yards. So that just shows how much it is quite a long optic, but you're still keeping an incredible field of view, and you're not going to get crept up on. If you're almost tunnel visioning down your optic, you're still going to be able to see either side of your target and make sure no one's creeping up on you whilst you're trying to take that sneaky shot. What's really good about these short dots as well is with it being that 1 times up to 5 times, these work great in CQB, they work great in outdoors, and the glass is just incredibly clear. The focus ring and the zoom is really, really easy. It's not too stiff. You can quite easily do this mid-move or anything like that. But by all means, any questions, just please drop them in the chat box and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So moving on to the Arbiter. The Forester has what's called a fine crosshair as well. So it's two fine lines with a very, very fine dot in the middle for a precision optic. The Arbiter, so this is the Arbiter 1x4x24. So again, very, very similar. You've got a 1 to 4 times magnification, a 24mm objective lens and a 30mm tube. You have the focus adjustment at the end, and this one has a much thicker throw lever and it's not quite as stiff as well. So this is designed to be very, very rapidly adjusted from zoom to zoom, going from 1 to 5 in a 1 to 4, sorry, in a very, very quick twist, meaning that you can go from CQB, get to a window, flip it really quick and take a nice clean shot at range. Again, your windage and elevation on the top and the right hand side, and your your brightness levels, lost my words there, are on the left hand side. And again, CR123 battery. Again, nitrogen purge, so really, really good for anti-fog. And again, the glass is exceptionally clear. The main difference between this and the Forester is this has got what's called a DND style optic. So what that means, it's almost like a T-shape, a circle with a very, very fine dot in the middle, and it is the circle and the dot that are illuminated all the way up to 1 to 11 levels of brightness, meaning that you can set this up perfectly for how you want to game. And with the circle and the dot, it means it's very, very precise. A little bit more for rapid acquisition because of that circle. That's giving you a rough area of if you're almost close or you're just covering the target. You know you're going to hit. It might not be precisely where you want it, but you are still going to hit the target. And sometimes that's all that matters. You don't need to hit that precise spot. You just need to put a BB on the target, and then you've done what you need to do. And that's what this is really, really good for. Moving on to, again, another one of my personal favourites. People that have followed the live streams have probably seen this quite a lot because it is probably one of my favourite optics that we've ever sold. The Forester 1x5x24 Gen 2 second focal plane. So all these are second focal plane optics. First focal plane are usually a lot more expensive, but this is a second focal plane. Paul Eastwood asking how much is the Forester, and Matt has got it bang on the dot. These are $109.99. And what you're getting for that kind of price is absolutely incredible. The 1x5, so the Forester Gen 2 at $109.99. It doesn't come with this mount. This is just one that I've put on it. It does come with normal mounts like the other ones do, or you can throw the Vector cantilever on there. Jasmine is asking, are we getting more UH1s in? As soon as America stops buying them, we are going to get them. We want the Gen 2 UH1s in. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on them. I think they're going to be really, really good. But unfortunately, America is buying up dot sites faster than anyone else can get hold of them at the moment. But yeah, the Forester 1x5x24, perfectly clear glass, absolutely incredible, and it's a second focal plane. These are all second focal planes, so what that means is the reticle in here stays the same size no matter what the magnification. If you have a first focal plane, as you zoom, the actual optic will change size, so the optic stays in a relative size to your target. It means that if you're at 1 times, the reticle is very, very small and almost very hard to pick up, but when you zoom, it becomes really, really big. Much, much better for precision and extremely long range. Second focal plane, it just stays, you're looking at a dot, and it's nice and simple to pick your optic up and get your eyes down range. What's really good about this one is it also it's toolless adjustment. So the turrets on the top, you can just pull them, rotate them, and push it back down. Each one of them little clicks, again, is a half MOA adjustment. So each one of them clicks is moving my dot half an inch at 100 yards, just showing how much precision this optic has. Also has a really nice, very ergonomic throw lever on the back. So if you are on a 1 and you want to rotate it round, it's nice and easy to do. This one is a lot stiffer to adjust than the other ones, and I think that's why they've put the lever on it, but it does mean that once it is positioned, it's going to sit there solid. When are gold matches going to be back in stock? I actually don't know. I don't think it's going to be this month, to be honest. If you ping us a message on social media, on Instagram or anything like that, I can check and I can get back to you. So again, you've got windage and elevation on the top and the right-hand side of this. Both are toolless, so you can just adjust it slightly and pop it back in and it's locked in place. You have your brightness setting and your battery compartment on the left-hand side. You have your 1 to 5 magnification there, and this has 0.5 markings on it as well, rather than just the other ones sometimes just have 1, 2, 3, and 4. This just have a wider, so it's got a longer travel, but it still has the same magnification, just so you've got a bit more precision. And again, it has the focus ring at the back just to adjust your eye relief. What's really good about this, it has a 4-inch eye relief. So when this is on a rifle and you're quite set far back, you still have a perfectly clear view down it. Really, really good. The mount that I've put on this is the QD one, because I like this so much. I'd bounce it between rifles. I'd run this indoors, outdoors. I'd quite happily run this as CQB. It's that easy to get eyes down it, sight on target, and a clear sight picture. It's really, really good. And the toolless adjustments makes it really, really easy if you change it from sight to sight. But yeah. So we've covered MOA, we've covered the different optics. If you do have any questions on the vector optic stuff, by all means drop us a message. We're more than happy to talk to you and make sure you're getting the exact right thing for what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, so from right to left we have the flip to side magnifiers in 3 and 5 times. They are fixed. We have the 1x36 red and green dot. Super, super cheap and really, really nice just to get on target and stuff like that. The cantilever is an excellent, cheap, super lightweight mount. If you're these will work on snipers and rifles completely. As long as it is a 30mm tube, it'll be really, really good. Looking to get so a random Raven is asking, looking to get my first gun from us guys. Excellent choice. Just let us know what you're buying and we'll share it. Review a shotgun, please. We are hoping to have the gas shotguns back in very, very soon, so hopefully we'll get another review on them. Or some people are asking for a Cyma Tri-Shot, so what we could do, we could get, we'll get some of the gas ones and we'll get some spring ones and do a range review and do it that way. Do you recommend the Jag Precision Taran Tactical? If you actually look at the moment, if you aren't signed up to our newsletter went out yesterday and had the STI Combat Master in there discounted. So if you're very, very quick, get on the website and look at that. They are discounted right now and they're very, very cheap. So it's pretty much the same gun. So if you jump on that, that'll be really good for you. But if that's everything for today, guys, covered a chunk of information. It's really good talking to you and letting the community get involved. But if there are any more questions, so we've got a few more. Something by Spectre, I don't know, something to play with. So if you keep an eye on the website, very, very soon there is going to be a massive Spectre restock. All the cores going to come back in, and hopefully next week or the week after we will have the Edge 2.0s back in as well. And Matt is just asking, can we do a review on the SAC-12? If you go on Instagram, check our IGTV page. I think we have done a Core 12, maybe the PDW version. That might be on there already. But go check that out. There's loads and loads of videos on there. But yeah, the Core C20 is really, really good. So Matt was asking, is that for indoors? Matt, you were mentioning back there saying is that for indoors? What are you referring to there? If you're referring to the short dots on the side, because these drop all the way down to 1 to 5 times, these are the glass is so clear and so good on these. These are actually incredible at CQB. They look like a massive optic, and they do take a big chunk of real estate on the top of your AEG, but they are absolutely incredible. And the classic question, when are AAPs going to be back in stock? Or is that ASO1 Striker, sorry. I thought that was the AAPs. So the ASO1s, I believe we are putting an order in very, very soon. They should be back in the next week or two as well. Will you get the SSR-15? If that's the Novrid rifle, probably not. If you wanted something like that, you're probably best off buying off him. Or if you go on our website and look at any of the modifier rifles, they'll be really, really good for you because they're probably cheaper. But if that's everything today, guys, covered a chunk of information. As always, it's really good to talk to you. So Floating's asking, will you ever stock real EOTechs? So I take it you missed out on the disgusting deal that we did last year where we had about 30 of them and we sold them all at cost. Hopefully we will try and get more deals like that in, but we did have the XPS 2s in last year and we sold them all exceptionally cheap. It was really, really good. Unfortunately, I missed out. Paul Eastwood, do you recommend... missed it. So Paul, if you ask that question again, and I can answer you, he was asking for a recommendation and I've missed it. But yeah, loads of information covered there, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. If that has been everything, we will leave it there. And hopefully, if there's information that we have missed on the Vector Optics stuff, by all means, jump on social media, jump on Instagram, send us a direct message. We're more than happy to make sure you're getting all the information at the right time. Matt Izale saying, I presume you're referring to the EOTechs. He's referring to the EOTechs being about 700 quid. We were selling them for less than half that. So when we do get them in, we only get them in when we can sell them for cheap. We're not going to get real steel optics in and sell them at a price that's not really good for anyone. If you're wanting something very, very similar, again, these the short dots and the Maverick, these are all rated for real steel. So your 2.2, your 5.56s and everything like that, they're more than capable of competing up with that price. So if that's everything, guys, thanks very much for joining us. We'll catch you again at another time. Until then, we'll see you later.